think that's all that can be said. There is some report coming out now that the US Navy had picked up a POP. They have a series of listening stations around the US coast, and in fact scientists have listening stations all over the world. And sound travels so fast and so far on the ocean, they think they picked up a POP, which coincided with the point at which the submersible Titan disappeared. So it's fairly certain that it imploded very early on in the voyage. They will study the wreckage site, looking at the debris field to work out the spread, and from that they can usually work out whereabouts in the water column it burst. But I mean, it's tragic. You know, the only consoling thing is that it would be instantaneous. The people inside would never have known what happened.
I mean, it's going to be very, very difficult to retrieve any bits of wreckage that tell you anything, isn't it?
No, because I mean they've got. The initial discovery was actually by one of the Canadian ROVs. It's a commercial one. They had about 3 ROVs on site that were capable of doing this depth. That's the robotic vehicles. And they've all got manipulators, and they will be able to pick up quite a lot of the parts to bring back to the surface. And the same way as you get air accident investigations, when you have an air crash, they will then sort of compile the parts they've taken off the seabed, probably not in a hangar, who knows, and then from that they can start to piece together what might have happened and see whether they can find any sort of faults in the hull itself. But it'll take months. I mean, it's not going to happen sort of quickly. They're going to obviously photograph and survey the area before they start retrieving parts, so they get some idea of the spread of the debris, and then from there, as I said, they're going to recover it. It's testing technology, and it shows how advanced we are now in our technology in the oceans. But yeah, it'll take time, but it is perfectly feasible to collect most of the debris.
What do you make of? I know it's hard to be judgmental at a time when there's been so much, you know, clearly so much tragedy associated with this. But I mean, even reports going back 12 months or so, where the company was saying, oh well, you know, the plexiglass window is made of things that you shouldn't really mix them together, but we've decided to do it anyway, and could have been a point of weakness, perhaps. I mean, it raises some very real questions about what's been going on, doesn't it?
It does, yes. And I think, you know, James Cameron said very, very sort of clearly that, you know, there are some concerns over this particular construction. There's also concerns about, do we need, I mean, we certainly don't need manned submersibles now for exploring and for science in the ocean. ROVs are, you know, now so advanced, they can do so many things. There's nothing that we can do with a submersible with people inside that we can't do better with an ROV. I mean, we can leave an ROV down there for days at a time. If we lose the ROV, it's embarrassing and slightly expensive, but we haven't lost any lives. And so, I mean, you know, this voyage was very much about tourism. It was sort of in the same way as, you know, there's this new, I think, trend for very rich people to either go up into space or down to the deep ocean. And I guess do we question that? I guess the ocean is international. It's international waters. They were international waters. They're not controlled in this sense by anyone in particular. So they talk about sort of, you know, it wasn't certified, it hadn't been inspected. The question then is, which particular country or which particular organisation is responsible for that? If it was operating commercially out of one of the countries of the world, then it would be regulated to a certain extent by that country. But, you know, the law on this one is very, very vague when it comes to the ocean.
OK, I suppose you'll never stop people doing very dangerous and exciting things. But there you go. Dr Simon Boxall, thank you very much indeed for joining us.